Hello everyone, whoever joined me already. And if you joined, please write your name. Let me know where you're from. Today we will crochet this beautiful motif. This piece is almost finished and we will finish this together. But of course, all my lessons we start with learning how to crochet this motif. So if you are already in, please say hello. Where you from? And let's crochet together. I'm a little bit earlier. We have still 2 minutes to start. So I will come back to the diagram in a few minutes. Before that, I will tell you that you will need to cut padding cord. You will need choose crochet thread number 10 and any thread you comfortable with. Hello, Rick. I will use, of course, my silk thread. You can use cotton thread, number 20, number 40, or number 60, or even number 80, if you are comfortable. But if you are learning, and I would say for any motif, does not matter you're experienced crocheter or not, I always like to crochet first time, my first motif, with a thread that is slightly thicker. This will give me a chance to see if everything worked the way it's explained in a pattern or in a diagram, if this will really, I will receive motif that is on a picture. And by the way, I found few mistakes in the diagram, so we will discuss this today. So this is why it's best always to try to crochet with something that you're comfortable with. So pick up thread number 20, for example, Lisbeth number 20 thread, or crochet thread DMC Cordonette Special number 20. Anything that you feel comfortable with. You can crochet this motif with Perle Cotton number 8 or 12. So this is what I will do. And also I will use crochet hook number 0.9 millimeters. This hook will work perfectly with thread number 20. If you still uncomfortable with this hook, you can, hello Wendy, you can use hook number 1 millimeter hook. Hello Via, is that your name, right, Via? So anyway, before we go into the diagram, cut thread for number 10 for padding cord. Measure 4 meters long thread and fold it in half twice. So you will have 4 strands for padding cord. This is what is required by the pattern. Violetta, Vio, okay, great. Beautiful name. Very beautiful. Okay, ladies, so let's then begin and look at the diagram first. Diagram is not complicated at all. It's repetitive. Hello, Marcia. This is the book, 128 Motifs. You can purchase this book on Amazon. It's available if you will just search, go to Amazon.com and in their search section type 128 Motifs, Japanese book. This book will pop up and you can order that book from them. This book also sometimes available on Etsy but I will not recommend to buy this book if it is a PDF file. Be very careful because price, of course, very cheap, but it is not a legitimate book. It's a basically it's a stolen book. It's not allowed to reprint somebody's book, make copies of it, and sell it. So I would recommend to go on Amazon and buy a book, physical book, instead of PDF file that probably $2. But and another problem with those files, you probably will not see very well your diagrams. So it's better to spend a little bit more money but buy a good book, and this book is priceless, I would say. So let's look at the diagram first. So at the very center, we have our beginning arrow, the arrow that tells us this is the beginning of work. Then we have this little arrow kind of going alone with circle, tell you direction of your work. So that means we will crochet on a circle. And we have, if you look here, we have the end of our work. This is where we will finish. We have long, curvy line that is in red in color, and this is our padding cord. Also, we will crochet at some point, like we have different kind of leaves for that flower, netted leaf with picots on the edges, and we have this kind of leaf, and if you look very carefully, we have lines under each stitch on each row. That means we will crochet in the back loops of stitches of previous row. And if you look very careful at the diagram, we have one leaf and another set of two leaves, and they are repeat this pattern. Both those patterns repeat itself 1, 2, 3 times. So we will crochet one set. I will show you how to connect this next set to the other motifs or leaves, and then you repeat this again. So we make one more time and 3 more times repeat around the circle. A motif is not complicated at all. Probably look like complicated, but it is not. So we will start with the center. We will start our work right here. Number 20 and those hieroglyphics here tells us to take a needle. I would say like this one I have in my hands. It's a knitting needle, 4 millimeters in diameter. You can use this, you can use 5 millimeters. It depends, the size of that needle depends on a thread you will use. The finer the thread, the smaller needle you will need. I will, for example, if I will use crochet thread, it's very similar to number 8, peddler cotton, could work as number 20 of Lisbeth. Let me check if this will be the same in size. Just never did before, but we can do it now. So this one is number 20, Lisbeth. And when I compare both threads, they look alike. They are almost the same. Yes, so for this thread, if you use number 20, I would take knitting needle that is 4 or 5 millimeters in diameter, and we will have to wrap around the needle thread, our working thread, 20 times. And after that, we will crochet our stitches over that coil of thread. I always call the thread that is wrapped around something a coil, because it is look like a coil. So we will wrap around thread around the needle 20 times. Then after that, we will crochet around the coil 20 single crochet stitches. We'll have to close our round with a slip stitch. Then make chain and single crochet stitch over the first single crochet stitch over the first round. And after that, very simple, very easy pattern. We will crochet netted round, chain 3, skip 1 in the middle, in the center piece, first round, single crochet stitch into the next, and repeat, chain 3, skip single crochet in the first round, single crochet into the next stitch, and you repeat this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 times. At the end, the way they finishing this round is kind of interesting. I noticed this technique in many Japanese books. So after the last arch, which is not really last arch will be this one. So after this almost last, pre-last arch, let's say, we'll make single crochet stitch, then chain 1, and we will make simulation of arch by making crocheting double crochet stitch into our or chain 1 or in single crochet stitch, first single crochet stitch here, wherever you can put your hook here, wherever it will be easier to insert the hook. After that, after the double crochet, we will crochet second round, and second round consists of chain 4 and single crochet stitch into the arch below, into those chain of 3, and you repeat again the same pattern 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 times. Repeat. Total will be 10 arches. And this is the place when we will introduce our padding cord. So let's come back to this place later when we will make this together, the centerpiece. So let's do this together. I will put my diagram down and we will come back to diagram every time we come to across to something new. So my padding cord is ready. It's already cut. So 4 meters folded in half twice. But make it ready and put it aside until we will need it. But first we will go and make our centerpiece. So pick up your needle, 4 or 5 millimeters needle, and wrap thread around it 20 times. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. I always put my short tail over when I wrap around, like at least half times, and then continue. 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. You can cut this short piece or you can leave it. I always cut my short piece right away. If you don't feel comfortable cutting it at first, you can keep it. It's up to you. Let me slightly move my camera just a second because I see my hands sliding to the side and you don't see what I will do. Okay, now I hope I will not slide with my hands to another side. Okay, so we have our 20 stitches. Very carefully take this coil of thread off, holding carefully in your hand. And now we will crochet first slip stitch to secure the coil of thread. This is our first slip stitch. We don't count this stitch here. And then we crochet 20 single crochet stitches around the coil. Hook goes inside the coil and crochet 1 2 3 4 5 6, 7, and you know my technique, right? If your coil kind of misbehaves, all you have to do is insert scissors inside the coil and open scissors inside. This will help you to keep your thread intact. So 7, continue. 8, 9, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. I'm not sure, I have the weird feeling that I have more stitches than I need, so let me count them just to be sure that I have the right amount of stitches here. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, I'm doing fine here, I guess. For some reason I had that feeling that when I stopped to make my ring adjust it a little bit, I thought I lost my stitches. So here it is on the back and on the front. Now we will make our slip stitch. Slip stitch, chain 1, and into the first stitch right here we put single crochet stitch. Single crochet. After that we crochet our arches. 1, 2, 3. Skip stitch on the ring and single crochet stitch into the next, and repeat this around until we hit this area. So again, 1, 2, and 3. Skip stitch on the ring, single crochet into the next. 1, 2, 3, chain of 3, skip stitch on the ring, single crochet stitch into the next, and continue on the round, the same pattern. I need one more, I believe. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need one more arch. 1, 2, 3. skip one chain into the next stitch, and this is where we come to the end of the round, where after the last single crochet stitch we're making chain one, and now we will make double crochet stitch where we had our first single crochet stitch on a ring, and we have chain in here also. I can see very well single crochet stitch. This is where I will make my double crochet. So here's my double. After that, if you look at the diagram, here we are finished our double crochet. After that we will make second round of the netted circle chain 4 and single crochet stitches into each arch below. The arches, I call them arches, some people call them loops. It really does not matter to ever. I just tell you few terms that you can find in the books. So after double crochet we make chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet stitch into the first arch of chain 3. Again 1, 2, 3 and 4, single crochet into the next chain of 3. Again chain 4 and single crochet stitch into the next arch. I grew up with the term arches, that each chain that create each chain of the round row was called in the literature in Russian language was arch. When I came to United States, I noticed that most books call those spaces or chains loops. Or some books will say insert or make chain a stitch into the chain of 3 below, which is too many words to say. I prefer to say arch or loop. And again chain 4, single crochet stitch over the arch, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually I do not poke my arches through, I just crochet that stitch around it. And let me count to make sure how many I have. According to the diagram, we have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 total arches. I think I have only 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And the last arch we make again. So at the very end, watch this area where you have this chain with double crochet stitch. It's kind of shorter, well smaller, and you cannot miss it. So we'll make chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and the first thing we will do is we can introduce our padding cord. So before you connect, make your padding cord ready. And according to the diagram, I like to show diagrams so often enough to make it understanding and clear. So here we are, right in here, our last chain of 4. We can introduce our padding cord, as you can see, it's right here. and we can make our first single crochet stitch over the padding cord into that double crochet stitch. After that, let's just do this first, and then after that we will look at the diagram again. So pick up your padding cord and be ready to connect. So I will insert my hook first into the double crochet stitch. Then I will put on a hook my padding cord like this. Pick up thread, pull it through the padding cord and double crochet stitch. Now you have 2 stitches on a hook, crochet them together. So everything is connected and your padding cord is attached. Now I will put my crochet down and we will come back to the diagram for a second. So after you attached your padding cord, we don't really, well, we count the stitch, but right here it says 51. So this one stitch we can already disregard, it's already here, it's our connecting stitch, and then count 5 stitches into each arch over the padding cord. So we will crochet around padding cord and around all those arches that made of chain 4. And total will be 51 stitch. So what I would recommend you to count every time you come and crochet over the arch, crochet 5 stitches. Again, 5, 5, and so on. And we will come to the this round we will finish right in here. Our last 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then one more stitch to the first stitch right here, this last stitch, and then we will come back to the diagram and discuss how to crochet the leaves. Okay, so now Ida, I don't understand your question. Let me read it again. It looks like 3 stitches over the arch and 3 over the padding cord only. Where are you looking at the diagram that you see 3 stitches? No, 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 no. It does not look that way. We make our first stitch and then we have to add stitches over the padding cord and arches. They kind of turn, you can see how they slanted slightly, those stitches. They need to go into those arches. If you look at the motif itself, here's motif on their picture. I always look at what they did here before. You can see that all those stitches were made only into the arches. Because if they will not, you will see the gaps here that they were crocheting only over the padding cord. So no, all stitches right here in our next round right now, we will make 5 stitches around the padding cord and arch. Okay? You with me? Okay, so our stitch connected, padding cord, and now we can crochet over the padding cord and the arch, around the arch. So I insert my hook around the arch 5 times and make single crochet stitches into the arch and over the padding cord and crochet our single crochet stitches. Now this will be 3rd stitch, 4 and 5. And now remember that once in a while we have to stop to make sure that padding cord is not showing itself between stitches. And to fix it, we have to pull on each strand. It's very important to look at neatness of your work also. So this is how it will be right here. You will not see your padding cord. This is important. You can pull together, but it's easier and better to pull each strand at the time. It gives better result. And continue again into the next arch over the padding cord, another 5 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And continue. Basically, we repeat here. There's not really a right way of holding padding cord, and everybody probably will have their own way of doing it. I like to keep tension of my padding cord by holding my padding cord together with my working thread. So if you notice how I grab the thread when I go around the pinky, I pick up like this, and then with the same hand I hold padding cord with fingers here. This will help me at least better manipulate and keep my padding cord from misbehaving. So next, continue. I think, let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I have enough stitches. It's important. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sometimes it's also, you can put your padding cord, also helpful for keeping it from showing on the back. You can lay it like this almost in front of your work and hold it with fingers. This will allow your padding cord to not to show between stitches later. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And of course, this about padding cord, we all have our own way of connecting, crocheting, holding thread, hook. So I am not trying to say you must do it this way like I do. Many of you already crochet and crochet Irish crochet lace for many years, and so I'm here not to tell you how to hold your hook or how to hold your thread. I think it's a matter of comfort for everybody. And continue crochet. So we'll have to have this round will consist of 51 stitches. If you don't want to count all 51, then it's better to count by 5, multiples of 5. It's way easier that way. And again 5. You can adjust your padding cord after every 10 stitches if after every 5 it's kind of too much. 3, 4 and 5. When you will pull on a cord in the round, be very careful not to be too tight in here. You don't want to squeeze too much those stitches. They need to be more open. So be very careful how you do this, how you pull on a cord if you need to, if you must. Because I can see that my is getting too tight in here, so I can always come back and stretch a little bit and to return those stitches into right position. So the key to success in Irish crochet, when you crochet over the padding cord, don't be in a hurry. Often stop and make sure that padding cord is not shown anywhere between stitches. Count stitches and make sure that your work look neat on the back and on the front. We're not competing here with the speed, right? Who crochet faster? And you cannot compete against yourself, I guess. So please be very precise in your crochet. And neatness of your work is very important too. And I have one more last arch to crochet. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And remember, the last stitch over the padding cord, we crochet into the first stitch of our round when we introduced our padding cord. So that last stitch over the padding cord and into that first stitch. Make sure that stitch is tight. One more time we'll check our padding cord that it's behaving here well. Okay, all my stitches are uniform, tight. So this is the centerpiece. Now let's come back to the diagram again. And see what next. So our next step will be, so we finished right here. This is our last stitch. Now we will crochet first petal, this right here. It's also very easy petal, but there are a few tricks that will be probably confusing when we crochet, especially when we connect here. We have to be very, very careful connecting right into the right stitches and count, precisely looking at the diagram. Okay, so let's start first. After the last stitch, we will crochet only over the padding cord, and we have to make 24 stitches. It's already told us here, 24 stitches. And all we will have to do for our next crochet, notice this red little curvy arrows. They are going throughout an entire diagram. They tells us and show us direction of our work. So we will crochet this way. Then we have a row. First row, second, third row, fourth. And here's our arrow. Next follow again. There's arrows. They tell us how to crochet and how to move around. So let's come back to the leaf. So we will make 24 single crochet stitches over the padding cord. After that, this is our last stitch right here. It's a little bit too much stiff going on in here, right? So we stop here. This is our last single crochet stitch. After that, you see that little arrow also? Another small arrow. It tells us that after the last stitch, we have to go this direction. We make chain 3, skip 1 stitch, single crochet, and repeat the same pattern. Chain 3, skip 1 in the first row, single crochet into the next stitch. And this is what we make all the way to the end. And I would recommend you to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 little arches or loops. After that, single crochet, chain 1, and look at those broken dotted line, or broken line, I don't know how to call it, dotted line. We will have to connect. So we have this one stitch here, right? We connected just our last stitch right now. When we will connect this leaf, we'll have to skip 1 stitch and single crochet into the next. Okay? Now, after this, after connecting, again this dotted line, take us to chain 3, single crochet into the first loop, and then you repeat everything the same way. Chain 3, single crochet into the loop, and so on. And we will have to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Last arch connected with a slip stitch to the padding, actually not to the padding cord, but to this last stitch right here. After that, we will have to crochet stitch over the padding cord. We have this line here, dotted line, to show us that we have to connect to the leaf, but we don't have this leaf yet. Our first leaf is this, so there's nothing to connect to yet. So we are not connecting, we just will make single crochet stitch over the padding cord and crochet our next row. When we will come to the last leaf, we will connect this last leaf to the first leaf. And this is what I will show you how to do this. And how to do this that it will not be noticeable. So after the single crochet stitch over the padding cord, we will crochet, and this will be very tricky place. Yesterday I was making this motif, and I was unraveling quite a lot, and I found out that it's not enough picots, I mean too many picots they have in order to have here 18 stitches. When you count those stitches right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so it will be 18 single crochet stitches here. So if you will have 10 picots the way it's shown, then you will have you will not be able to make 18 stitches. So I could fit only 9 picots, and then I crocheted, they show you here 3 single crochet stitches over the padding cord only, and then single crochet into the arch. Again, 3 single crochet stitches over the padding cord, next stitch over the arch. For me, it wasn't enough even after I made only 9 picots. So what I did, I crocheted over the padding cord 4 single crochet stitches, and my next stitch was in the arch. So instead of 3, I made 4 in order to have those 18 single crochet stitches for this part of the leaf. And it was quite confusing how they connect here. So I figured out that it's way easier. And if you will have time and want to follow this, it didn't work for me. and I end up unraveling, looking into this through the loop, which I always crochet with the loop. And I find out that it will be easier to crochet this way: three single crochet stitches over the padding cord only, picot, and then the next stitch connect to the arch. Again, three single crochet stitches, picot, and single crochet stitch over the next arch, and so on. This is how you crochet the edge of the petal. So we will come back to this again together, and I hope you will not have problems that I had, but I'm telling you right away up front that there are too many picots they have, and I didn't make it. I was probably unraveling 3 times, and finally I decide, no, I will do it my way. So, okay, let's go and crochet 24 stitches. So we made our center. Now only over the padding cord, 24 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And 4 more. 21, 22, 23, 24. And after you made your 24 stitches, make sure they are nice and snug and you don't see padding cord. Right now, of course, if you see at the motif, if you look at the motif and a diagram, of course, it's not a straight line. Here's my first leaf. It will not be straight line. After we will crochet those next 2 rows, netting, after that we can, before we'll introduce padding cord again, we will shape our leaf a little bit later. But for now we can just crochet our next row. So after you crochet 24 stitches, drop your padding cord, turn your work like this, and we crochet chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is another technique I do. I wrap my padding cord around the pinky of my right hand. It's easier for me to hold this like that. But again, everybody is different. Probably you're okay without holding it this way. Now I'm counting first stitch, second, I skip second, into the third stitch, we make single crochet stitch. And again, 1, 2, 3. Again, skip 1, single crochet into the next. And this is what we repeat all throughout our 24 stitches. 1, 2, 3, skip 1, single crochet into the next. Again, 1, 2, 3, skip 1, single crochet into the next. 1, 2, 3, skip 1, single crochet into the next. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 1, single crochet into the next stitch. and repeat to the end. Okay, and I for some reason might have double crochet here somehow. And I'm at the end, and no matter I cannot go anywhere else anymore, I still like to check and make sure I have exact number of arches that they want me to have. So looking at the diagram, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 arches. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have my 11 arches. Now be very careful how we crochet next. We have to turn our work. This is how we look at it. Now turn, holding the petal, turn the circle clockwise, and remember the way we connected. We have to skip one stitch. So this is stitch we were our first stitch. Then next stitch we skip, single crochet into the next. Connect our petal to the round part of motif with single crochet. And now turn again together the piece, center piece, and the petal, and we crochet on this side. So after the single crochet stitch, if you look at the pattern, we will have to crochet 3 single crochet stitches, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, single crochet stitch into the next stitch or first stitch of arches. What I'm saying, I'm sorry, into the first arch. Again, 1, 2, and 3. And again, next arch, single crochet. And we continue crochet exactly this pattern to the end. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet into the arch below. Again, 1, 2, and 3. Single crochet stitch into the arch below. This motif is from one of the French books for Irish crochet. I unfortunately don't know French, and I'm wondering what is there for this motif. I don't remember which book it is, but I saw this motif there, and I'm wondering if the pattern is a little bit different from the diagram, because there's somewhere a mistake happened. You cannot just make all those 10 picots. Okay, I'm at the last arch, so crochet into the last arch, and then again chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And remember, in the diagram they have slip stitch into the first stitch, into the last stitch that we made over the padding cord. It's right here. The way I do this, the way I connect, I just pick up loops on the sides, on this side and another one on that side. This is where I insert my hook to make slip stitch. There, this is how it will look like. And let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have to have 12 arches. And let me see, there was a question. Okay. At the very beginning of the lesson, I mentioned thread we're using for Irish crochet only thread. We do not use yarn. So I'm sorry if you have yarn, it's not going to work. Irish crochet is made with thread only, crochet thread. If you don't have thread, I don't know what to recommend you, what yarn. Right out of the blue, I'm sorry. The finest thread you can use, if you're comfortable, thread number 10. I'm not right now, really didn't knit and crochet with yarn for many years, so I would just skip this to answer you. So, okay, now let's come back to the diagram and look very carefully here again, just to make sure. Our first, after last arch, we made slip stitch into this last single crochet that we made, and then single crochet only over the padding cord, and then we will add again 3 single crochet stitch, picot. And I will show you how I do that. We will not make it this way, okay? It's a little bit confusing here because they connect, first they connect third stitch of fourth, then they connect first stitch to the arch, so it's not the way I would like to crochet, and so we will make few changes. So after slip stitch, we crochet single crochet stitch only over the padding cord. Then again, only over the padding cord, we crochet 3 more single crochet stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Make picot. Oh, I'm sorry, my voice losing. 2, 3. I don't like when my voice acting out in the middle of videos. I'm sorry. And our next stitch to connect. So what you saw what I did. Single crochet over the padding cord. Basically we have 4 single crochet stitches. Then I made picot. Then I turn my petal and I will crochet single crochet stitch over the padding cord and into the arch, the first arch right here. You see? Right here. Single crochet stitch. This will help you to turn your area right here. It will look nice and neat. If you will see padding cord, you will have to adjust it. I would not adjust yet because it's kind of too curvy in here and not easy to adjust padding cord. Let's crochet a little bit more. After this connected stitch, only over the padding cord, crochet 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Picot 1, 2, 3. Each picot consists of chains 3, slip stitch, and again connect with single crochet stitch over the padding cord and going into the next arch. Single crochet stitch. And this is when you can stretch your last stitch that you will not lose it, and adjust padding cord that it will not show itself on the back between stitches. So I will pick up each strand at the time and this hat look like look nice and neat. And we can continue. Yes, Rick. Yeah, I was 3 times yesterday, unraveled 1 time, second, third. I took this diagram, I was looking at it like, oh my gosh, didn't like it at all. And the thing is that when you have 10 picots as in diagram, then you don't have that those 18 stitches. How they made it, I have no idea. I didn't have yesterday time to look at this closer. I just made it my way, the way I understand and see. Again, we have only over the padding cord 3 stitches, picot, make picot, and again after that, only after the picot we connect with single crochet stitches. I found it way easier for me. Now what you can do, you can also make 3 single crochet stitches, connect, and then picot. We can do that. So it doesn't matter really, you don't have to follow me. You can try make 3 single crochet stitches, connect to the arch, then make picot, and again 3 single crochet stitches, connect, and then picot. I did it this way. It doesn't really matter when you make that picot, I would say. And again, so well, let's repeat this way until we have 9 picots. That's enough. Oh my gosh, yeah, Rick, dinner is important if you're hungry. Crochet will not work very good. I'll talk to you later. Have a wonderful dinner. Bon appetit. Okay, again, 3 single crochet stitches. I would make picot. And connect to the arch below and over the padding cord. Remember that we connect using our padding cord all the time. Let me see. Questions? Anna, you can buy crochet thread online. You don't have to wait till shops will open. Amazon is a good place to go and shop for thread, but please, if you, I'm not sure how familiar you are with Irish crochet, but Irish crochet is made only with thread, and you can learn more about thread on my website, irishcrochetlab.com. At the end of the video today, I will post all my videos. Actually, you can go and check, have information and link to my website. And there at the website, you can go to materials in the main menu and read about thread and crochet hooks that are used for Irish crochet. So I'm not saying the same thing over and over again. I just quietly am crocheting, but you already know what we're doing, how we're making our leaf. And once in a while, I would recommend you to stop and adjust padding cord. Again, picot, and connect to the arch. Be very careful, those arches are very small, very difficult to see. You have to stretch a little bit your work to see where you're going with that. Also, I'm not sure if I mentioned, you see my leaf naturally become curved. Uh, you don't really have to do much with that. You can pull a little bit on the padding cord to create an arch, just the way I already showed in the previous video tutorials. And my leaf just from straight line, you see, became curved. Okay, how many picots I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more picots, and then we can I will adjust my padding cord. While I'm crocheting and adjusting, I would answer Anne that yes, on my website you can find information about thread, about crochet hooks, even the links to the websites where you can buy this thread. And majority of websites are open and they send you thread if you order online. Not a problem. I checked already. I even ordered some from Joanne, from Amazon. They all working and they sending items to you. About yarn crocheting, I saw some people crochet motifs with yarn, fine yarn. Doesn't look bad, but it will not be Irish crochet. Irish crochet is purely made with very, very fine thread. Of course, you can use motifs to make something with yarn. It will be beautiful too. But I never recommend using yarn. Okay, again, I can connect. If I see that my stitches are a little bit stretched too much and I cannot connect to the right place, I can connect skipping. No, you have to, what you have to do, push your stitches together closer and then connect to the correct place, to the correct little arch below. And one more picot I will have to do after this. So 3 stitches over the padding cord only, 2 and 3. Then 1, 2, 3 for picot. And then after that, connect one more time to the arch below with single crochet stitch. And after that, I will stop to adjust finally padding cord here, and then we will finish this petal with 18 single crochet stitches total. And what I will do this time, now if this is too wavy, if this is, you see how what's going on, if this is too wavy, don't really worry about it because it will get flat after we will connect with the last. But if it's too wavy over on this edge, what we're doing, we're pulling on the padding cord slightly, not too much, and this will give us a little bit better neat looking piece. I can see still padding cord seen through the stitches, so what I will do, I will have to adjust a little bit more. If you don't need it, you don't need it, but I have to make sure that my stitches look neat, even it's lesson, but at least you can see it takes a little bit longer time. You see how I adjust my padding cord and make my stitches look nice. Okay, what we will do now, we still have 3 arches here on the bottom, and we have to make, we will make over the padding cord 4 single crochet stitches, then connect to the arch, again 4, connect to the arch and to the end. And then I will show you what else I did different from the diagram. Because on the diagram they go only 3 times, but then you don't have enough stitches. And how I discovered that? I discovered that it's not enough by crocheting the next leaf and connecting to this first, and it wasn't enough stitches. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 single crochet stitches over the padding cord only, then single crochet stitch over the padding cord and into the arch below, connecting. And of course you need to a little bit pull on a padding cord again. So this is our first 5 stitches. Again, over the padding cord only, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then connecting over the padding cord and into the arch. Again, I do not poke the arch through, I just go around it. And again, I will pull on a cord. I just want that area right away to be. It will be very personal how you will pull on a cord here, and I will show you at the very end after I finish. So total we have 10 stitches. We need 18. This is how I counted for myself to make sure I have 18 stitches. So again, 4 stitches over the padding cord only. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can pull on a padding cord and make sure that stitches are snug together tightly. Again, connect to the last arch. Here's our last arch in here. Connect with single crochet stitch and over the padding cord. I will stop a little bit to adjust this because you don't want this to have like archy. You want it straight, kind of. You see when I pull on a padding cord, what happened to the leaf. You see what's going on, right? So you want it more curvy here, but not as curvy on this side. So by holding the padding cord and last few stitches, you can kind of make it straight here, adjust it, stretch it slightly with your hands, but make sure that this part is curvy. It's why it's important when you crochet this area, you kind of give the shape of your leaf as you crochet. And this is what it will be. So we have 3 sections are done, 15 stitches, but we need 18. So 15 stitches will be involved in connecting the next leaf, but also we have to connect way before picot. We still need 3 stitches. So those 3 stitches we will crochet only over the padding cord, or also you can make 1 more single crochet stitch, 1 more single crochet stitch into the arch or over the arch and padding cord, and then exactly as in a diagram. In a diagram we have only 2 single crochet stitches over the padding cord, and then they connect that leaf to the center. Of course, what I will do, I will make sure that these stitches are more snug together, closer. And the way I do this, I squeeze together in my hands what I have and pull on a padding cord, but very carefully. And when I do that, I can see my leaf moving slightly, like this. And again, I can move slightly those stitches with my hand to make it straight and basically shape my leaf. This is how I do this. Now, let's look at the diagram quickly. When we made our last stitch, you see these 2 single crochet stitches over the padding cord only. And this right here kind of like bented padding cord and single crochet stitch made into the last arch here. So total, if you will count all those stitches here, it will be 15. And actually the clue comes from this part, next leaf. You can see that it's connected, those stitches, first 15 stitches here, it says 15, connected to this leaf. We need 15 stitches plus 1, 2, 3. This is what gives us 18 stitches. Okay, so now we made our last single crochet stitch here. And now we need to connect our leaf to the center. So where we were connecting last time, right here, we have to skip one and connect to the next. So let's do that. And then we'll come back again, read the diagram together. So here we are. At the center, let's look carefully. So this is connected piece, then again single crochet here, skip, and to the next, connect over the padding cord. And after that stitch, you can again adjust a little bit this leaf that it will look nice and neat here. I just hold my stitches here and pull on a cord. Okay, that's it. Now let's come back to the diagram. We will crochet next leaf. So after here, this is what our last stitch look like. It's right in here. After that, we will crochet. What we have to do, we have to follow those dotted lines. Which way we go next? So after this stitch, we go in this way, and we will crochet 15 single crochet stitches over the padding cord, connecting them to the stitches of the last stitches of the first petal. And as you notice, we have those lines under each stitch. We will connect to the back loops of stitches of that last petal. Back loops, 15 stitches over the padding cord. Then only over the padding cord, 5 stitches. Then drop padding cord, turn your work, you see those broken lines here. 5 single crochet stitches, half double, 7 double crochet stitches, half double, 5 single crochet stitches, and the whole entire row made into the back loops. You see those lines, right? After that, again, we connect. Now we will connect quite close. We will use all stitches that come next to each other. So next row, we connect next to this stitch right here where we were connecting. We are not skipping anything. Then we go back, you see, following the dotted line, and crochet again into the back loops a different pattern. 3 single crochet stitches half double, 11 double crochet stitches half double, 3 single crochet stitches. Then single crochet stitch over the padding cord, and turning your work, crochet 20 single crochet stitches over the padding cord in the back loops, and at the end crochet and connect to the centerpiece with 4 single crochet stitches. Then we will make this interesting loop. I will show you how to do that. And again 4 single crochet stitches, and after that our work repeat itself. So let's go and make our second leaf following this diagram. I will remove my book away. You follow the diagram. end my video. Okay, so now to start next, we have to turn our work like that, clockwise, and then crochet over the padding cord into the back loops of each stitch. So find the right stitch to connect. You will need a loop in here, magnifying glass. Okay, and over the padding cord, our first stitch. And this way, crochet over the padding cord 15 stitches, inserting the hook every time into the back loop. At first it will be a little bit uncomfortable, but my hook goes into that area on its own. I guess I used to this kind of crocheting, so it's easier. And if you cannot see, you can just look and make sure you are inserting your stitches, your hooks into the right stitches. And by the way, I'm not counting for some unknown reason. I will stop and adjust my padding cord at first, and then I will count my stitches. So after 5-7 stitches, stop and adjust your padding cord. Make sure it's not showing anywhere, and that you don't see padding cord on the turn of your work. Otherwise it will not look neat. Okay, let me see my stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's always easier to count stitches on the back, from the back, counting those bumps. And connect next. So will be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, this is what you don't want to lose your stitch. 13, then 14, and last stitch 15. Again, I will adjust my padding cord because you can see how it is not pretty. So you want your stitches and padding cord look neat. Well, you don't want your padding cord to look anyhow, you don't want to see it, but stitches must be neat. So pull on them very gently. And now we will crochet only 5 single crochet stitches over the padding cord. I noticed that I do not have enough stitches. There's another or mistake, or I miscounted. I add 6 stitches. It's easier for me at the very end when I have to crochet last stitch. So I will make 6 single crochet stitches over the padding cord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And why I added that extra stitch, because I need to connect last stitch for my next row, and it's not easy because stitch is quite tight in here especially where the turn is. So this is why I add that extra stitch. Now, in my work, it's always like that. Probably you will have the same. When you have the transition from crocheting over the padding cord and connecting to the previous stitches, and then you crochet only over the padding cord, you will have this padding cord kind of showing, and your work look like it's broken here. You have to fix that. And how you fix it? Just simply by holding the stitches and pull on the cord slightly, not like drastic like I did. Just make sure to hide that space. And now you fixed it and it's not looking broken anymore. Okay, so now 15 stitches and 6 over the padding cord only. It did help me, so I hope you will also understand why I did it when you will crochet. After this, drop your padding cord, turn your work clockwise, and crochet following the pattern. We have here we have to make 5 single crochet stitches into the back loops only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochet stitches, then half double, 7 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then half double crochet, and 5 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5. Now we have to connect, remember, we have to connect our stitch right next to the stitch that we connected here, our cord. Now next stitch, not skipping anything, just connect with single crochet stitch. Now turn your work and crochet next row for the leaf. This time we make 3 single crochet stitches, again crochet into the back loops. 1, 2, 3, half double, and 11 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Half double crochet and 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. After that, we make single crochet over the padding cord, 1 single crochet, make sure that single crochet stitch is snug here and you don't see your padding cord. After that, turn your work clockwise like this, and we will crochet last row of the sleeve into the back loops over the padding cord, and we crochet 20 single crochet stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let me stop here because I have to adjust padding cord, especially here on the edge, on the corner of the leaf, on the tip of it. And I have my padding cord showing itself between stitches, which is not allowed. And let's fix it. So just pull on each strand at the time. Here it is. You don't see anything here, and padding cord is gone on the side also. And let's continue crochet. So we have 10 stitches. We need 10 more. 11, 12. Don't forget to crochet into the back loops. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And this at the end very difficult to find the last 2 stitches, so you can insert one right into the bump in here. 19th 20th stitch, I can just get into that. It's not easy to find the stitches here, so anyway your hook will go. 20. First, before I will connect my leaf, I will adjust my padding cord for those last stitches. And if it's too tight, you can always come back and fix it. And now our next step is to connect. And this time, according to the diagram, let me come back to the diagram before we will go and connect. So we finished our leaf. We will crochet now, connect. Our last connection was here, so now we are not skipping anything. We will crochet 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet stitches into the row below, into that round circle. After that, we will crochet only over the padding cord 12 stitches, and then we will connect. We will have to twist it, and this row here tells us that that piece will twist it. How it will twist, I will show you on my motif that is ready made. And after that, we will connect this loop again to the center piece with 4 single crochet stitches. After that, we will repeat this part with this part. We will repeat 1, 2, and 3 times. and I will show you how to finish. So let's connect this sleeve, make the 4 stitches, a loop of 12 and 4 stitches to connect, and then I will show you how to do this and how to finish, how to connect here. Okay, so our leaf is finished. Now we go into the round part. Into that circle we crochet, not skipping anything anymore. Over the padding cord we crochet 1, 2, 3, and 4. I will go and adjust this here. Just pull on all of those. Make sure that the leaf is not disfigured. And padding cord is not showing itself. Now we crochet 12 single crochet stitches only over the padding cord, and we will do this for the loop. And this loop, you see how it looks like. It is twisted. So we'll make that stitch, this loop, and it will twist on its own. We can help it to twist with our hands, of course, but this is how it will look like. So let's do our 12 stitches over the padding cord only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I would recommend to make sure that all stitches are nice and snug, because that little twisty loop will show padding cord if your stitches are not tight in here. So now watch how I do this. Now we'll have to connect this piece with 4 stitches over the padding cord right in here into this circle, and it will be, of course, happened. What will happen, it will naturally go and twist itself, so you really don't have to do much. So I will go right away into the next stitch right in here and crochet 1, my stitches 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can see how it goes. If I will pull on a padding cord slightly, because you don't want those stitches here to show itself between stitches, make sure there's no padding cord here. And now what will happen, all you have to do, if your stitches look like this, just all you have to do, twist it slightly. This is how it will look like. That's it. Okay. Now, since this pattern is repetitive and repeats itself 3 times, I will not crochet each section with you. I will only show you how I connect here, and then you go and crochet and repeat the same steps as we did for the first section of 2 leaves, and I will show you how to finish. because it's also very important. So our next step after we made the loop and made 4 stitches over the padding cord, our next step is make 24 single crochet stitches, and then we will make those arches, create the leaf. So let's go and do that. And then I show you how to connect. So first we crochet 24 stitches over the padding cord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Make sure that stitches are nice and snug, no padding cord is shown anywhere, and don't mistake this pattern to some patterns that are in this book. Sometimes what they do when they make the first stitches over the padding cord, they write the way connect. You can do that here, but it will be way easier and way better if you will after this single after the padding cord is with 24 stitches. Do not connect yet, because if you follow the lines, those broken dotted lines, you can see it's not connected yet. Here's our last stitch, and only this stitch connected to the previous leaf. All they do, they make arches, they make netted part of the leaf, and only then, after the last arch, they make slip stitch, then pick up padding cord and make that single crochet stitch over the padding cord, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th stitch of the leaf right over here, the second leaf or previous leaf. And this will be done all throughout your work. So let me show you that part, because I don't want you to mess up anything. Even if it's clear, I will still show you how I did this. So let's crochet our netted part of the leaf. 1, 2, 3. I will 1, 2, 3, 1 skip and single crochet. 1, 2, and 3, skip, single crochet into the next stitch. If you guys have questions for me right now so far, please ask me. Of course, I prefer to crochet right away and then only answer, because it's when you count stitches, it's better to pay attention to stitches you make. If something repetitive, I can stop and continue easily. So if you have questions while I'm making this repetitive pattern, it will be easy for me to stop and answer your questions. Also, I want to ask you all, Please share my videos with your friends who like to crochet, who want to learn Irish crochet lace. Like my videos, and that helps a lot to for others to see videos on the YouTube. And visit my website and see what else is available there. This crochet marathon started way before, when we went on the quarantine, and there are a lot of videos already posted and crochet patterns that you can look up. I'm just checking here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now, as you remember, we can turn our petal. And by the way, okay, I have to stop and go back to the diagram because it's important. I want you to pay attention to this. So when we were crocheting this leaf and connecting to the circle, to the round part, we did not skip anything, right? We didn't skip, we did not skip. Now, when we will make first row of netted petal, we skip here stitch, crochet to the next, and again we will skip when we will crochet and connect with padding cord. Again we will skip one stitch, connect to the next. After that, no skip stitches. So second leaf and the loop right here, all those stitches are snug together and they are crocheted over the padding cord, and you do not skip any stitches here. We skip stitches only for the netted leaf, and we skip only once. So just to I want you to pay attention to this, it's important. So our last petal is, or arch is done. After this, holding the leaf, turn only the center part and connect, skip one stitch. You see, here's my last stitch, skip, connect to the next with single crochet. Then turn your work again, all entire work together, center and the leaf. And now we continue with netted part of the leaf. 1, 1, 2, and 3. Connect to the first arch with single crochet and repeat again 1, 2, and 3. Single crochet stitch to the arch below. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet stitch to the arch below, and repeat to the very end of our, to the tip of our leaf. So please visit my website to read more information about thread, about crochet hooks and other materials for the for Irish crochet. Also, my video tutorials, complete course of video tutorials is on sale. It's 75% off. With this course includes a lot of video lessons, and it's more than 30 hours of videos on the by time, more than 140 motifs, projects, and you can have access to my crochet Facebook group where you can ask me a question. This group is private, only for those who purchase my video tutorials. Okay, now last arch of stitches, we make slip stitch, and now pay attention. So we make our slip stitch, and this is when we connect this leaf to the leaf below. Before we connect, let's find the right place we have to connect to. We have to connect to the 7th stitch. So count on the leaf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's the stitch. Insert hook into the stitch in both loops. Pick up padding cord. Make your single crochet stitch over the padding cord and into the stitch below. 2 loops pick up, okay? So now we're done. Before we go any further, make sure you have a good curve here and it's flat. It does not create a wave at the base. Because if your base will be kind of curvy and not flat, if you'll put this on the table and look at it, if it's kind of like this, right? Like this, it's not good. You need to make sure that by pulling on a padding cord slightly and moving with your hands a little bit, all those stitches, you shape your motif. Okay, after this, after you connect it, this is when our pattern become when we crochet over the padding cord. Just a second, I'm sorry, I lost my stitch and my hook stuck in the stitches. Okay, now only after you connect, crochet 3 stitches over the padding cord only. 1, 2, 3. Make sure stitches are tied together and you don't see your padding cord. So only over the padding cord. After that, picot. 1, 2, 3. Make your picot. Now turn your work and your first single crochet stitch connect to the first arch over the padding cord with single crochet stitch. That's it. Of course, make sure that your padding cord is not shown anywhere. This area will be nice and tight. You can see how it looks like. This is what you want to achieve. And again, you continue, repeat your pattern. Follow the way I showed it to you for the first leaf. So make 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, and 3. 3 stitches over the padding cord. If you like, it does not matter, you can connect right the way. Remember, I was making padding picot first and then connect it. You can connect first and only then make a picot. Okay, for the next video tutorial, I will prepare my hot tea for my throat so that I will not lose my voice. I happen to lose voice when I talk for too long. And again, single crochet stitches over the padding cord. Then if you chose my first way, the way I was making my first leaf, you can connect, make picot and connect, or connect and only then make picot. So I will not continue after this because everything is exactly the same. You crochet exactly the same repetitive pattern as for the first 2 leaves and that loop. So you continue with your crochet pattern diagram and refer to my video if you need help. Make sure to remember how you connect to the circle. So look at those stitches between when you connect and when you skip, when you crochet them together. So we skip stitches only for the netted leaf. For the second leaf and for the loop, we do not skip stitches in the center, okay? Because if you will not do it right, then you will mess up here at the end, okay? So let me show you how to connect our last our last leaf. So I made already my leaf. My first stitch is right here. You will have to count, so we will have to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. On the 14th stitch we connect here. And then we will have to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 stitches. And then we will have to fix and finish the loop. So let's first connect and then we will come back. I will remove my unfinished leaf for later. I will crochet later today and I will pick up my prepared leaf that I was crocheting yesterday. So here we are at the very place we have to connect our last leaf, and first leaf. So we go with the loop, keep your stitch, last stitch on the hook, go into that first stitch, find that stitch that was a stitch over the padding cord, and into that area insert your hook into that stitch. And let me show you where it is on the diagram. Oops, sorry. Here it is. This is that stitch. So we're connecting our 14th stitch when we crochet the edge of the last leaf and insert the hook into that stitch of the padding cord. If you cannot really connect to the stitch itself, you can insert between this stitch and this stitch right here, or between this stitch and that stitch, if you will find it. It's easier to get between those 2 stitches actually, if you cannot get into the stitch itself. So I have my hook on a hook, the last petal, the 14th petal, hook into the stitch over the padding cord, grab your thread and very carefully move the thread through the petal, first petal. Here's that thread, you see? And move the thread, continue through that 14th stitch. Make sure to pull tight, that this connection won't be stretched. You will not have stretched stitch. And continue crochet over the padding cord into the back loops. The last stitches we have to make our 6 stitches. Um, you also have to watch that you will not have padding cord showing itself between the stitches here. So I would recommend stop at some point and pull on a padding cord so that if it's showing there at the connected part, where that stitch that we connected, if it's showing itself there, you have to pull on a padding cord away before you go further, because you don't want that. You want a nice smooth transition that no one would see where it was connected. Okay, here it is, and continue to finish. It's a little bit not easy right here that your thread behind. Let me undo this and show you something else. I didn't think about this before, but it's important. So I will undo this for a second. We will come back to that spot. And it's way better if you will take your working thread and move it to the front before your work and before the sleeve, not behind like it was before, but in the front. And after that, only after that, you can connect into the stitch of the first leaf, grab the thread, and pull in here like this, and then only continue crochet. Of course, your padding cord will be on the back, but you can also move it on the front of your work if it is easier. And I'm sorry, I moved my hands. You didn't see what I did because I wanted to see what I'm doing. It was selfish of me. Okay, I have to show it one more time. I can also move my padding cord in the front if it's easier. It's up to you. And I'm not really sure it will be easy or not, but so okay, one more time. Into the hook, pick up thread. So hook into the stitch on the leaf, first leaf, pick up thread, move thread through the stitch on the leaf, and stitch on the hook. If it's not easy to move all this together, first move hook with the thread through the leaf and then through the last stitch. So this is our stitch that was on the is 14th stitch. Only after this pick up your padding cord and continue crochet. Well, see it, for me it's not easy to have padding cord here on the front. I must move it on the back. Everybody have to try their own way of doing this. For me it's uncomfortable to have this padding cord here. And so we are going and crocheting the rest of the leaf. Let me adjust my padding cord. So we need to make 6 more stitches here. Don't forget we have to crochet over the padding into the back loops and over the padding cord. That will be a little bit complicated part. So make sure you see everything the way it's supposed to go, like where the padding cord, where the thread. You can even fold your work here. Probably it will be even easier. Yeah, I will move my padding cord and I will fold the leaf here. It probably will be a good idea, you see, fold it like that on the back and only crochet your, finish your stitches for the last petal. And don't forget, we still have to make that little cute loop, twisted loop on the center part of our flower. So this part is a little bit complicated, but I know you can do this. After the last stitch, I will go and adjust my work because I can see my padding cord showing itself. And make sure that this sleeve is not disfigured by pulling on the padding cord. Sometimes that happens. Like this. Now we can finish our centerpiece. We need to fit in here our loop like that. Here they are, those loops. They are really cute. And connect flowers. So how we connect? Remember, we have to make 4 stitches first in the center, then loop, and then last 4 stitches. So I will, to make it easier on me, I will fold my work and make sure I'm going into the right stitches here. So first we're connecting, making 4 single crochet stitches over the padding cord into the loops. 3 and 4, and into the both loops. By the way, I hope you notice that when we connect to the centerpiece, we do not connect to the back loops. We crochet, we insert the hook into both loops of each stitch. So I made my 4 stitches. Now I can make my loop, but before that I like to adjust here. And now we can make 12 single crochet stitches only over the padding cord. And if it, petals are on the way, just fold them back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this last part will be quite difficult because of the space you have. It's not as open, it's a small part to finish right in here. So you will have to be very patient here. So we made our loop of 12. If it's easier for you, you can right away twist it like I do, as you can see with the hook. But you want to see where you're going with stitches also. And find your last stitches to connect. So we have one right here. 1. And 3 more to make. You cannot even see them because everything's so small. 2, 3, and 4. Last stitch. And 4. Now, of course, we have to adjust this padding cord a little because it's showing. I can see my padding cord. And after that, I will cut my working thread already. I will, before I will finish, because we have to finish with, they don't finish with a slip stitch on the diagram. Let me show you the diagram. So here's our last loop. They made 4 stitches, made loop, and last 4 stitches. And that's it. So what I like to do, I like my slip stitch. I like to finish with slip stitches. Before, I will take this padding cord and move it on the back of my work because I still have to work on this piece. So I will make slip stitch. Do you need it, actually? Yes, I will make my slip stitch because there is something visible here. I will make it there. You can actually make it on the back. I'm trying to think if it's better even to go on the back with that stitch like this. Move your thread there, because you cut thread, so it's easier to move now. Yeah. So here's on the back, and probably I would make this slip stitch somewhere in here. Probably it's not even important to make that slip stitch, but you know, I don't have even spot how to connect it here, so I will not I'm sorry, I will not. Here's my last single crochet. Cut your thread off, pull on a last stitch, and that's it. All we will have to do, finish the work. So first, let's see if everything look good. Of course, you will block your motif, steam it, whatever you do. I like to just steam my motifs. So here it is. Now, we will have to, we cannot cut this, just cut it off, because this can come out from the stitches, and that's not a good news. So what we will do, we will take our working thread that we cut, and even I showed this before, I will show this in this video also. So thread the needle, and here's your padding cord. I would sew around it few stitches, like somewhere this distance, 5 millimeters. Sew it inside my work behind, and only then you can cut it off. So you just sew around this padding cord, inserting the hook, not a hook, our needle, inserting the needle with thread to the stitches behind the padding cord. Sew it to the stitches below. I basically connect to the stitches right here, those bumps. It's very easy to connect to them and insert the needle inside. Like this. And sew around 7 millimeters. When you sew, make sure you have tight. Oh, how nice. I have a knot here. Okay. Make sure that those stitches that you make right now with the needle sewing so tightly. That way you secure your padding cord very good. And only after that, this is only when you can cut the padding cord. So you sewed quite a bit. If you feel it's enough, long enough piece, then you can cut your thread for padding cord. Not thread itself, not yet. So by sewing like around this, you just secured your padding cord right now. That's it. But now you have to weave in your thread. So when your padding cord is done, you weaved inside or sewed around padding cord long enough piece, then you can cut this padding cord and weave in your working thread, because your working thread is still vulnerable and can unravel this area that you were sewing. So I would go into the stitches that are made over the padding cord. They are tight, and this is where you can weave in your thread. I also will go, since I am into the next to the netted leaf, I cannot weave in my thread in this area. It will not be very secure. So I will jump into the leaf, next leaf here, into this second leaf, and weave in inside, because this leaf is has a different pattern, and it's easy to weave in stitches here. So I was going this way, now I go opposite direction to weave my thread in. And this is basically all you need to do. And make sure when you weave in, you still don't see thread where it's going. It's not showing anywhere. You want your work to be neat. And now you can cut your thread off. And your crochet motif is done. So that's it. Thank you for joining me today. This is all we did for today. I don't see questions are coming. They're not. So if you still have questions, you can always come and replay this, rerun this video. And if you have questions, you can post your questions under the video for me. I will always see them and will answer for you. It's a really beautiful motif. Have a wonderful time, great week. And Thursday we have a lesson from Masterpieces of Irish Crochet, so also at 12 o'clock. And I will see you there. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.